So like, how do I get this?
Let's put this back, okay? No more play. Now it's time to just go on.
Can't see nobody. I have no idea who's on or who's watching, if anybody is or not. We're gonna get rolling. All right, y'all. Well, thanks for coming out. It's funny that today's seminar is about commitment. And we have the lightest group we've had yet. So, all right, let's pray real quick. Father, thank you for this day, for life, love, grace, for allowing us to be together, to share together, for allowing us to go into, for allowing us to be together, to share together, for allowing us to go into this fourth seminar in the series. Lord God, thank you for what you're about to show us, what you're about in the series. Lord God, thank you for what you're about to show us, what you're about to teach us, how you're about to reach us. Lord God, we give you all the praise and the glory for what you're about to do in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so far we've talked about, we first talked about the fact that you need a paradigm shift. All right, again, it's not a review. What is a paradigm? A model or a pattern. A model or a pattern or a mode of thought, a modus operandi. What's the paradigm shift? A change in that model or pattern. It's caused a major change in your life and how you react. All right, then we talked about solving for why. When we say solving for why, what are we talking about? Prioritizing, but what specifically we say solving for why? What are we talking about? What are you looking for? A reason. You're looking for a reason good enough to make you do what you don't want to do. You don't want to do it because you want what you get when you get it done. You want something that's going to push you to get you to keep moving, even when you don't feel the excitement that you originally felt. All right. What is motivation?
Motivation is a good enough reason.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Do something that what you're trying to do.
Motivation is a good enough reason to make you do what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it because you want what you get when you get it done. Bottom line, that's motivation. Is motivation a feeling? No, motivation is not a feeling. I'm going to say that for y'all out there. Motivation is not a feeling. It is a reason. It is a reason. If you look it up on Google, it says it is a reason that makes a certain person do a certain thing or behave a certain way. All right, it's a reason. I have a good enough reason to make me get up in the morning and go to work when I don't feel like going to work because I'm motivated by my reason for going. My reason is not because I feel like it. My reason is because I want to get paid. My reason is not because I feel like working out. My reason is because I want to get this change. My reason is not because I feel like meal prepping. My reason is because I want this change. And the reason becomes good enough, then I solve for my why. So now I got a paradigm shifted. I've solved for why. Third thing we had to realize was that I can. In other words, I had to learn how to take ownership of my own situation, my own circumstance, my own mindset, my own decisions, and decide to wear those decisions. When I do that, I have to meet me where I am. We talked about that last week, right? We have to meet with me where I am and be realistic about who I am. Because who I am, my self-perception is going to determine a few things. It's going to determine my actions. What else? My reactions, my interactions, and my transactions, right? It's going to determine my actions. It's going to determine what I do. Because what I'm going to do is going to be in line with who I am. And how I react to somebody is going to be in line with who I am. It's not only important to know what I will do or can do, but it's also important to know that who I am dictates what I won't do. All right? And that's a beautiful thing. And it's going to determine my interaction. It's going to determine how I interact with somebody. When you interact with confidence, you get a different reaction from the person you interacted with than when you interact and you ain't sure of yourself. All right? But knowing who I am is going to change how I interact. And it's going to change how I transact. Because then you begin to weigh what you're giving versus what you're getting. In other words, I'm not gonna transact my hope for hopelessness. I'm not gonna transact my time for garbage. I'm not gonna transact my glory for something of no worth. I'm looking for a return on this investment. So now when I transact with you, if what you're giving me ain't get me where I'm going, I gotta leave you alone, right? Then once I realize that, now I gotta recognize that not only this, but I can, not just the person around me, not just the God around me, but the God in me, and I can do all things. Anything I want, I can do. I gotta remember, I can do anything, but I can't do everything, right? So I have to prioritize and get things done that are important to me, but I have to recognize it's inside of me, that you are the asset. We talked about that. So I gotta take care of me, all right? I've got to value me. And when I bring value to the table, if you don't want my value, then what should I do with my value? Keep it and take it with me. All right, stop trying to give somebody something they don't want. All right, bottom line. All right, so now what we're going to talk about is commitment. Somebody say commitment. Commitment. This is the part that throws off 80% of people. This is the part that throws people off. Now, we started this thing 5 weeks ago, but really we started about, this is the 4th seminar, all right? And what happens is, in the beginning, everybody's excited because, it's something new, something I'm getting in this, da. Second week, do it. Third week, maybe. By the time you start really getting into it, then folks start backing out. Why? Because there's no commitment, all right? Commitment is what's going to make you keep going way after this excitement is gone, all right? And that's what you have to find. Our biggest problem in life is that we're not committed to much of anything. Most of the time we'll dip our toe in, we'll try something, but we're not committed, all right? And we have to learn how to be committed. Understand that dabblers, people that dabble don't succeed, all right? There's several things that I dabble in that I'm pretty good at. But a dabbler's proficiency in anything will be directly reflective of his or her commitment to growing in a given area. All right, when I learned how to skate, I wanted to learn how to skate because everybody around me can skate, but I didn't have skates. So I got some skates down in the basement, and I went concrete with outside skates, teach myself how to skate. Taught myself how to skate, how to backward skate, all that, right? But I never invested in real skates and in real time. So I would get out of there, and I was proficient enough not to fall, but I never became proficient enough to do all the sweet stuff because I never spent that time. I never invested that time. When I was there, I was getting phone numbers. It was a different thing for me. I would act like I was falling away for a pretty girl to come by and say, "Oh, you skate so well. Can you teach me how to skate?" And then, get the phone number, on to the next one. So I never learned how to skate right. When I go bowling, all right? I go bowling, I can get sweet at that middle, getting up the middle, but when you start trying to go to spares and all that, I can't do it because I haven't invested the time to become proficient or the money to become proficient, all right? And when I find out, I used a ball one time that somebody had, that they were in the league, and they let me use a ball, and they gave me a couple of tips, and I got kind of sweet with it, and I recognized that I could not become proficient at bowling. Somebody say, "Do you bowl?" I can't say, "I don't bowl." I'm not gonna lie to you. I can go down the middle if I show up. Once every 6 months that I'll show up. But because I have not invested the time, have not invested the money, have not invested the mind, the engagement, then I'm not going to be good at it, all right? When somebody talks about me in martial arts, the reason that I am what I am with it is because I have been completely engaged and committed. When I was a little kid, I was engaged and committed, all right? In martial arts, part of my whole fight strategy was catching people when they committed to a movement. Because once you commit to a movement, now all of a sudden everything is pushing toward the fulfillment of that movement. So if I catch you in the middle of that commitment, I can get you because I'm not committed. And that's what people do in life. So you want to make sure that you commit to something, whatever it is you're trying to do, be committed to it. All right. I recognize that in my life, there's been over time I have had issues with committing to things. All right. A lot of us as men, we'll commit to providing for family. Provide for the family, want to make sure that the family has what they need. We'll work like crazy, but we don't commit to the marriage. Doesn't mean. All right. That is the truth. Right? You'll do everything for the family. Make sure the family's secure. Make sure they got what they need. You have women will commit to being a great mother, but then you forget about who you married. Or you commit to a boyfriend or girlfriend and you forget about the kids. All right? But we have to learn how to commit in life, period, in order to get the oomph out of life. You have to learn how to commit to it. And the things you don't commit to, expect no result. Expect no result. Because it is the level of commitment that's going to determine your engagement and your focus. Without focus, you don't get anything. All right? Things that come quickly or without effort are never respected or appreciated. Proverbs 13:11 says, wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, and he that gathers by labor shall increase. You ever seen people win big on the lottery? Right? And you see them, they win $2-3 million, and then 2 years later, they broke all over again. All right? You know what it is? Because it's wealth gotten by vanity. It's not something they earn. So they don't know the pain of what it took to get it. So it's not real to them. All right? People are getting big lawsuit money. And then they go out and they're buying cars and everybody got gifts and all this kind of stuff because it wasn't earned. So if I didn't sweat for it, if I didn't put that sweat equity into it, if I didn't put that time into it, if I didn't engage or commit to making it happen, it doesn't mean as much to me. All right? Which is often why folk around you can make decisions about what you committed to and what you should do about it because they don't have no skin in the game. All right? Anything that you don't have skin in the game is, you're not going to respect or appreciate. This is why a lot of times you see folk that get the different surgeries to help them to speed up the process of getting beyond the weight loss, getting beyond this, getting beyond that. But what you'll notice is that because the habits don't change, their bodies return to whatever state they can. And a buddy got the lap band, and he dropped down about to 200-something pounds, and when he left, before he left, he was 400 again. Because the habits never change. The investment of that time, the commitment to investment and engagement in it is everything. Everything. This is why, when I'm looking around in class, and one day I'll have 20 folk in class, and the next day I'll have 5 people in class, this is what makes me so upset about it. Because I understand that in order for you to get this thing, you got to get this thing, and you got to come and get this thing. All right? Let me say that again. In order for you to get this thing, you got to get this thing, and you got to come and get this thing. In other words, you got to literally come in, you got to show up, right? You got to show up, be present, and make it happen consistently. Somebody say consistently. Consistently, all right? Please understand that success is weighty. If you're going to be successful, it carries weight and responsibility with it. And that a lot of times is what we're afraid of when we talk about commitment. Because if I mess around and commit to this thing, I mess around and commit to this challenge, I mess around and commit to pushing myself, right? And I start actually pushing myself. Now all of a sudden, not only is there inner expectation from myself to push harder, but now people around me are starting to expect more from me than if I just keep goofing off. Not to mention, it comes with responsibility. The Bible says in, I think it is 2 Corinthians 4:17, it says, our light affliction is for but a moment, and works a far more exceeding weight of glory. All right? When you talk about trouble, when you talk about trial, when you talk about tests, basically what you're talking about is it's almost like doing life push-ups. All right? We get stronger in here by resistance. The more you do push-ups, the better you get at them, if you haven't noticed that already. The more you squat, the stronger you are in your squats. The more you push your body, the more you're able to do with your body because the body is made to meet challenge. It's the same thing with your mind. It's the same thing with your life. It's the same thing spiritually. You are made to meet challenge, and the more that you challenge yourself, the more you can handle. And all that is preparing you for where you're going. The Bible says you go from faith to faith and glory to glory. But between each level of faith, between each level of glory, there's tests in between. All right? And those tests, those tests bring about testimonies. Those trials bring about triumphs. Those challenges bring about championships. But you got to go through them. You got to go through them. You got to go through them. Why? Because when I get to where I'm going, it's going to require something of me. And to him much is given, much is required. Right? So it's going to require something of me. It's going to require that I do more. It's going to require that I actually become more. Is the bottom line. Because more is going to be rested on me. All right? I catch myself wanting to complain all the time. Because I look around like, oh, ain't nobody else to open the door. Oh, ain't nobody else to do this. Oh, ain't nobody else to do that. Ain't nobody else to do that. But you know what? It's what they call boss life. Right? You want it. You want your name on the building. You're responsible. You want it. You want to be the one that actually makes the decisions. You're responsible for it. All right? It ain't nobody else's vision but yours. Where you're trying to go, nobody else's vision but yours. I tell you all the time, can't nobody wear your drawers but you. All right? Bottom line. So what does that mean? That means that there's going to be some responsibilities to come as I succeed that's going to cause me to have to do more. It's going to cause me to have to do more, sometimes with less. But all of that is just preparation for where I'm going. So you got to embrace it. All right? Y'all with me? You got to embrace it. Because the tests and trials are workout facilities in which we build our strength, our endurance, and enhance our resolve to evolve. Somebody say resolve to evolve. You have got to resolve to evolve. You are constantly evolving. You are not staying the same. You are not staying the same. You don't want to stay the same. Because life is changing. Time is changing. Your station in life is changing. Everything about you is changing. You want to be evolving. You want to be constantly growing into a new and better you. Someone who met you 10 years ago should not even know you now. Because you've grown. You got 10 years worth of knowledge that experiences you've been through that make you a new person. So where they met you, so what they remember is who you used to be. And a lot of times folks will not judge you on who you used to be, but they'll try to stick you in that box of who you used to be. And if you try to go back there, you'll be uncomfortable because it don't fit no more, because you grew out of that. All right? Y'all with me? Yes.
Number two, things that come too quickly or easy are not usually what?
All right, not usually respected or appreciated. All right, not usually respected or appreciated. So, test precede testimonies. Test precede testimonies. When you start seeing trouble come, stop looking at it as if it's going to take you out. It's a test. Somebody say this is only a test. I don't know if they still do it on TV anymore, but they used to have every now and then they would test the emergency broadcast system, and you hear the sound beep, and they be like, the following is just a test. It's only a test. It's only a test. It doesn't matter what's coming your way. It's only a test. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to kill you. When we in class, I tell you all the time, it ain't going to kill you. No one has died in the last 10 seconds, the last 15 seconds, the last 1 minute of any exercise in our class in 13 years. You will not be the first. And I used to tell you, I've already talked to the Lord. He said, you will not die today. Today will not be the day that you die. If it don't kill you, well, you ain't dead yet. Keep moving. What don't kill you makes you better and harder to kill, right? Same thing in life. What don't kill you can either make you better or bitter, depending on how you deal with it. So you got to embrace that thing and start saying, tests bring testimonies. All right? You don't get a testimony without a test. You got to start looking at your trials and start recognizing that trials precede triumphs. In order for you to be triumphant, you have to have gone through something. I am, I get a lot of ladies that have babies, and they come in and say, I want to get rid of these scars on my stomach, these scratches on my stomach. Listen, let me tell you what I think. All right? It shows you triumphant, that you've been through something, and you can take some pain. I understand what I'm saying to you. Yeah, they're pretty before you have them. They're so nice and beautiful and wonderful before you have them. But it don't mean you ain't been through nothing. Till you start having to raise babies and deal with babies and make sure they fed, dressed, clean, happy, everything that needs to be. Make sure they don't get sick or stay away from getting sick and stay away from predators and all this kind of stuff. When you get through going through that, you start recognizing that what you got is war wounds. And all it shows is that you're a tougher soldier than the soldiers around you. So be proud of it. Be proud of what you've been through and got through. Embrace it. Trials bring triumphs. Challenges bring championship. When next week, when everybody's watching the Super Bowl, there's a challenge there between two teams. And the one that overcomes in the challenge is going to be the champion. That's what happens in your life when you reach challenges. Now the crazy part is you'll be dealing with several challenges at any given time. And there will always be. There will always be. Something great will be happening, and while something great is happening, something horrible is happening at the same time. That's just life. Deal with it. Embrace it. Recognize that the same God that's bringing the great stuff is the same God that's with you in the bad stuff. That the same God that's with you in the bad stuff is also blessing with the great stuff. Why? Because I know the thoughts of think towards you, thoughts of good and not of evil, to bring you to an expected end. There is a reason for all of this. There is nothing that you're going to go through that you're not going to grow through. Y'all with me? Does it make sense? So all of these things are to bring you to make you better. These are just the facts. And recognize that every mountaintop experience is preparation for a battle in the valley. There's a passage in Mark and also in Matthew, I want to say Matthew 17, where Jesus goes up on what's called the Mountain of Transfiguration. And he goes up with Peter, James, and John. And he goes up and it's up there. He transfigures, the insides come out, he starts glowing, right? And it's a beautiful thing. And then Peter gets excited because now Peter's like, ooh, I want to make a tabernacle with you, Elijah and Moses. We're going to just stay right here and just bask in this. And a voice from heaven comes out and says, this is my beloved son, hear ye him. And then they head out of there, they head back into the valley to find the other disciples dealing with a demon they can't cast out. That mountaintop experience, we want to stay there. We want to stay in the good part. We want to stay where everything is going right. We want to stay and bask in the glory of that graduation. We want to stay and bask in the glory of that celebration, of that birthday party, or whatever it was, where we was having all kind of fun, and everything was wonderful, and we was in the zone, and everything was beautiful. You want to stay there. But you staying there makes you miss the whole power of the moment, right? That moment, that moment of glory was not for that moment, but that moment was all about the movement. That moment where they got to literally see who Jesus really was to get them ready for what they were going to have to deal with down there. So that when you get down there, you know who you're dealing with, you know who you got on your side. So you got to take those mountaintop moments. You got to take the mountaintop moments and recognize, you got to take the mountaintop moments and recognize this ain't for now, this for later. You got to take them good times and recognize this ain't for now, this for later. This is for me to be able to pull up on when I go out here and do battle and engage, all right? Because what happens is when you get out here in the mess, you can go back to the experience of how you got through before. You understand what I'm saying? You can go back to the experience of when I really got to see who I was in him and who he was in me. You can go back to that mountaintop experience and recognize that you are not alone. Turn to something, you're not alone. You're not alone, all right? Those mountaintop experiences are preparation for the battle in the valley. There's always a battle in the valley. I'm going to tell you right now, when you start trying to get your stuff together and get your life in line, there is always a battle in the valley.
Amen.
Huh? Oh, okay, yeah, sure. There's always a battle in the valley. The moment you decide that you want to do something positive, that you want to do something productive, that you want to make a change in your life, there is always some opposition somewhere. Here's what you got to learn how to do. And you may write this down, this ain't on the sheet. Push past the point of conflict. I'll say it again. You got to learn how to push past the point of conflict. Whenever you get started trying to go somewhere, you got to recognize there will be conflict. Things will not line up. They will not line up. All right? That's the moment all hell's gonna break loose all around you. When you start trying to get in here consistently. The job gonna want more time. The kids gonna want more time. The kids gonna take more time. The family, somebody gets sick in the family, something goes on, somebody's car goes down, whatever. Things are gonna just happen. It's gonna get in the way. Now you're arguing, now you're fighting, now you're in the midst of losing your marriage, whatever it might be. Things are going to get in the way. Things are going to get in the way. But once you commit to what it is you're trying to do, you learn how to push past the point of conflict. That's what commitment does. It pushes past the point of conflict. Learn how not to just get stuck on the wall and say this wall is impassable, but push past the point of thinking. So I'm reminded of the statement where Jesus was talking. In fact, it comes up right after that passage I was just mentioning about coming down off the Mount of Transfiguration, where they come back down and they ask the disciples couldn't cast a demon out. They tried to figure out why it was, and it said because you didn't have enough faith. But this part goes out by fasting and prayer. He said, if you have the faith of great of mustard seed, you can say this mountain be moved to yonder's place and it shall be removed. Please understand, if I stand in front of Mount Everest and I say move mountain, that mountain ain't moving physically. But if I decide that the mountain in front of me is no longer an obstacle that's going to stop me from what I do, the mountain moves in my perception of that mountain. So now the mountain is behind me because it's not my issue. The only issue now is my will and the ability and determination to push past the party conflict. You understand what I'm saying to you? In other words, when my perception changes, then the relevance of the obstacles change. When I decide ain't nothing gonna stop me, when I commit to this process, when I commit to making it happen, when I commit that I'm not going to stop till it gets done, then whatever comes in the way got to get out the way.
Well,
Period. Because I won't be denied. Turn to somebody and say, I won't be denied.
I won't be denied.
I won't be. So them mountaintop moments are just simply to get you ready for the movement. That's why people go to church on Sunday. So they get the fuel to deal with Monday through Saturday. All right? That's why folks ought to get up in the morning and start feeding your faith and starving your fears. As opposed to listen to the news first thing when you get up, or checking Twitter, or checking Facebook and Instagram. The first thing you ought to do is feed yourself. In fact, don't even pick up your phone for the first 15, 30 minutes. Just sit in. Talk to the Lord. Feed yourself something positive. Feed yourself something motivation. Feed yourself something to remind you of the mission you're going on for the rest of that day. Set up your agenda. Then you go meet the world on your terms. So you're ready. Anybody get anything? So, James 1 says this wonderful passage. It says, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptation, knowing it's the trial of your faith. You answer.
Answer for number 6.
I didn't know the answer yet.
Oh,
We ain't went to worksheet yet. That's all right, though. It's in there. Okay.
So, if we did start answering.
You okay? It's okay. You can answer the worksheet if you want to, but I'm not on the worksheet. I'm going through what we're talking about. Then we're going to go through the worksheet together. But if you're trying to answer worksheet, that's all right. That's okay. That's okay. Y'all online, y'all see the worksheet, because that's where we'll be in the building too, by the way. All right, so anyway. It says, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this the trying of your faith worketh for patience, which brings about patience, all right? Count it all joy. When you start falling into trouble, start being excited about it. Isn't that a crazy idea? That when you see trouble come, you start getting excited. But I've learned, and most of the time I can get it. Most of the time I can get it right. But I've learned how when I start seeing crazy stuff happening, especially in the mornings, the first thing I say is, oh, it's going to be a great day. Because I recognize that when this crazy thing start happening, it's always meant to distract me from what's really going on. All right? When really, truth be told, you ought to count it all joy. Because it's going to ultimately bless you. There's nothing you're going to come through or go through that you're not going to grow through, and it's not going to work out for your good. Period. Even stuff that the enemies and people mean for your bad, for your undoing is gonna make you better. How many of y'all been through some things that people tried to get you, tried to tear you down, tried to tear you up, tried to take you out, but you still hang you? Are you stronger because you went through it?
Yeah.
Did you learn something because you went through it?
Yeah.
Did you become better because you went through it?
Yeah.
All right. So then whatever it is you go through, you're gonna grow through, and you can't lose anyway. So if I can't lose anyway, I may as well have some joy about it, because it means that God's taking me to some other level. That my designer is taking me up. And the more he takes me up, the more he's going to take me through. All right? And I'm not going to lose. I'm going to win. I'm designed to win. My life is designed to win. All right? So it's going to bless me. Tests come before promotion. Say it again. Tests come before promotion. You don't just get promoted because you're here. You get promoted because you went through the test. Folk wonder how I get the monster names. Well, you get the monster names when I look at you and recognize that you can get through something. How can I get to the front of the line? You work your way there. We put you up there because we want people to be able to watch what you do and emulate it. Right? So you work your way up there. You get stronger. You get better. You get faster. You get more reliable. You get more consistent. You show up and you show out and you give it your all and you push. Or you achieve, right? Tests come before promotion. That's real. That's real. Our biggest problem, and the reason that Dr. Miami is so paid, is because folk want promotion without the test. They want the change without the challenge. And there is no change without challenge. All right? Tests bring about patience. Somebody say patience. Oh, that's the big one right there. Vitamin P is what we call it. Vitamin P, patience. If I can be patient, there's nothing that can stop me. When you go through and you recognize that this storm ain't going fast enough, and you still keep moving and keep pushing past the point of conflict, and the conflict keep coming, you keep pushing past the point of conflict, and the conflict keep coming, you keep pushing past the point of conflict, and then all of a sudden you wake up and it's gone, it's over, you got through it. Then now you have an experience behind you, right? And you learn how to be patient. We get anxious when we don't know the outcome. But if you already know the outcome is you win, because every time you're going through something, you won, then it changes your demeanor about what you're going through, don't it?
Yes.
Huh? Somebody say patience.
Patience.
Tests bring patience. Patience is an essential vitamin. Period. It is essential. It is essential for you to be able to be patient. Because in order for you to get where you're going, you're going to have to grow through to get there. So it means you got to be patient. Because if he gave it to you too quick, you're going to tear it up and tear you up in the process. If you got what you were looking for without growing through the process of learning how to handle what it is that you're dealing with in between, you lose. Remember, success is waiting. Light affliction, but for but a moment, work a far more exceeding weight of glory, responsibility of glory. As your name starts coming up, and people start recognizing, the reason I can't do everything I want to do is because when I walk out of this door and I go out there, whether I want to or not, people holler and say, "Hey, J.C. Jones." I literally have been, going, pulling up in the, what's the name of that place? Petite's Cheesecake. Petite's Cheesecake. One day I was in between classes, hadn't eaten right, decided I'm gonna hit this cheesecake, I'm gonna be quiet about it, roll up in there, sneak in there, go to pull out, got the piece of cheesecake going in my mouth, and one of my old clients rolls the window, "Hey! J.C. Jones!" Give you nothing. Dutch Girl Donuts, right? Dutch Girl Donuts. And then I have this is back in my bigger days. Dutch Girl Donuts, right? Both have been cheap meals, but you know how that went. We were cheap meals were cheap days back then, right? So I went in there one day. Give me because I would knock the things out as much as I was like, give me 600, right? And as I go to order, the girl at the desk says, "Hey!" Oh, snap. "You J.C. Jones." Yeah, I see you. I see him coming. Yo, I'm here my cheat meal. So, give him donuts that time. I try to time it now, because that was in the morning. So about a week and a half or so later, I go back about 2 p.m. Figuring she got to be off. That was early. No, another day. Walk in there. I remember you, J.C. Jones. So needless to say, by after the third time of trying it, I ain't go back to Dutch School for a good while, because I knew I couldn't. Because I was recognized. Liquor store, same thing. Wherever you go, same thing. Because because now that name is going to mean something, there's responsibility by it. So I can't just be doing anything anywhere at any time. As you start growing, you can't just be doing anything anywhere at any time. All right? So you got to grow into this name God's trying to give you. How about that? Let me put it that way. I'm going to say that one more time for people in the back. You got to grow into the name God's trying to give you, so that when you get there, you don't blow it. Right? You hate to go somewhere your character can't keep it. Period. So you got to be committed. Say committed. And you got to have patience. You got to take your time. You got to recognize that there's a process of building patience. Let the process of building patience do its thing. Because you're learning how to wait. Because along the way, there'll be a lot of counterfeit blessings that'll show up that look like, feel like, smell like, taste like, seem like what it is you're waiting for, but it ain't. But it ain't. And if you're not careful, you will transact your movement for a moment. Oh, that's what I'm looking for. You'll transact your movement for a moment. Your forward, upward movement, you'll transact that for a moment and lose momentum. Right? So you gotta learn how to wait. It's making you whole. It says, let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect, complete, and entire, whole. Right? Wanting nothing. In other words, not lacking anything. Wants you to be able to be complete. Wants you to be a whole you, happy with you, content in you, confident in you. The funny thing is, when you start being confident in you, it's not that you don't think that you could get better or be better, become better. You're just okay with who you are in the meantime. I hear what I'm saying to you. I am nowhere near perfect. I am nowhere near right. I am wrong sometimes. There's 2 left shoes. But what I do know is I know who I am, I know whose I am, and I know I'm growing in the meantime. And I know I'm doing what I can do to become who I need to become. And all through that process, I own it. All right? And at this point in my life, I'm good with me. And when you become good with you, then can't nobody define you as to what they want you to be in the meantime. And you have to be able to be there. And that takes patience. You got to be patient with you, because you ain't going to always get it right. Otherwise, you'll be beating yourself up and slowing yourself down. Let me say that again. Otherwise, you'll be beating yourself up and then slowing yourself down because you're too busy beating yourself up to build yourself up. All right? So, if you can wait, you can have, do, and become whatever you want. Let me say it again. If you can learn how to wait, you can have, do, and become whatever you want. The more you're willing to wait, to go through the process, right? The more you're willing to do that, the more you can have. Delayed gratification, most folk ain't got it. Most folk will sacrifice what they could be doing in an entrepreneurial pursuit for a check on Friday. So I just keep working at that check on Friday, and I take all the overtime I could that they'll give me, as opposed to not taking that extra overtime, but taking that time I would have spent on the overtime and investing it in something I want to do to take over from what it is I'm doing. When I was in construction, I would go to the gym and train folk or do classes from 5:30 to 7. Leave there, drive, change my clothes in my car on the way down to the office, from a tracksuit to an office suit, and work from 8:05, just because I refuse to get there before 8 o'clock, 8:05 to 5:45, right? I mean, when I say work, I was working. I was not BSing, I was not playing, I was working. I was estimating, it was cerebral, I was getting it in. And as soon as I would leave there, I would turn around from 5:45 and drive back, change from my suit to my tracksuit again, work from 6 to 10, teaching and training folk. Sometimes I'd have to turn back around and go back downtown to get ready for an estimate that we'd have to do the next day and work from 12 to 3 in the morning. But I did that for 9 years straight. I refused to continue to go up the hierarchy at that office because I knew what it would cost me. Yeah, I could have made another $30,000, $40,000 a year right there. But what I knew was I was working on something, right? So I was willing to wait and invest that time to be able to buy my freedom. And a lot of folk won't do that because it's easier for me to take this moment than to feed this movement. And you're going to have to invest some TV time, some bowling league time, some skating time, some hangout time in the things that you want to do, because now you have to commit to it. Are you hearing what I'm saying to you? Does it make any sense? So if you can wait, you can have, do, or become whatever you want to be. Whatever you want to be. All right. Then it goes on, there's a part of the passage that I really like. We're talking about commitment now. It says, if any man lack wisdom, let him ask God who gives all men liberally and will not hold anything back. What does that mean? Why am I saying that? Because when you decide you're going to commit, you're going to hit some moments where you don't know what to do or how to make it happen. I get it all the time. Oh, I don't know what. I'm working 12 hours, Friday, work 12 hours, Monday through that, and so on and so forth. How working with this? And the first thing I do is I say, pray about it. Ask. Because you got to make it work. In order to make it work, you got to find a way. And you got to find a way going, I can't tell you, it ain't my life. But the designer can. And there's always a way. You have to learn how to make this thing work in your life. So you got to ask the question. I do it whenever I lose something. Like I lose my keys or whatever. First thing I do is I start praying. Oh, where they at? 100%. They always show up. So if you ever do that, I suggest that you do it. 100% they always show up. Now here's the key about asking. Key about asking for what you don't know. You got to ask in faith, nothing wavering. In other words, when you ask him, expect an answer. Expect an answer. Because there's always going to be one. Right? But he that wavers is like the wave of the sea is tossed. If you waver, then you ask the question, and then you go back and try to find the answer some other way, or not expect the answer, or go back and start worrying again. What's the old adage? If you're going to worry, don't pray. If you're going to pray, don't worry. All right? And that's easier said than done, but it's totally necessary. All right? When you ask, believe that you're going to get that answer, and keep moving. Keep pushing past the point of conflict. Right? How do I get this through? How do I get through to this kid? Ask the question, keep it moving. How do I fix this? How do I get through that? Ask the question, keep it moving. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. What's the most important thing? Keep it moving. All right? Keep it moving. Keep it moving. All right? Commitment is an ongoing decision to stay dedicated to a task, a mission, or a vision long after the initial excitement has waned. We talked about that when we started the seminar. Commitment is an ongoing decision to stay dedicated. All right? To stay dedicated to your task, mission, or vision long after the initial excitement has waned. You're going to have a moment where you all, yeah, we doing this. Yeah, we doing this, girl. You my condiment party? Yeah. And all of a sudden, one time the phone don't ring and you ain't going to answer because you know who it is. You don't want to know. And next time, we'll be hard to find you got another excuse. And after a while, the calls stop coming. And now, all of a sudden, you find yourself not doing what it is you were moving to do in the first place. Because the excitement's gone. And that's what people do. That's how you know if you really want it. There's wishes and there wants. There are wishes and there wants. Let's say this again. There's wishes and there wants. A wish waits and hopes for something to happen. A want makes it happen. When you see something you want on Amazon, what you do if you got the money? And sometimes if you don't. You make it happen, don't you? Huh? But how many times you saw them like posts where they had like the millionaire homes or whatever? You're like, ooh, that's really nice. That's a wish. Because if you wanted it, you'd do the things that you had to do to get there. Or you saw that six pack on that woman. And you was like, I want that. But then you went back and ate your fried chicken and sat down and watched the movie. You know what I'm saying? Oh, there's a wish and there's a want. And most people wish for better, they don't want better. Because when you want better, you do something about it. All right? And that's what commitment is. Commitment is the decision that after the excitement is gone, I'm going to keep it moving. I'm going to keep pushing past because I see ahead of me where I want to go. And my why is big enough that I'm not going to give up on it. All right? 1 Corinthians 15:58 says, be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding or doing more than enough, knowing that your labor is not in vain, Lord. When you decide that your outcome is worth the effort, you can be still. In other words, you can be steadfast. You don't get shook easy. You don't get shook out your place easy. All right? Your emotions don't push you out of where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. Say, go ahead.
It was 1 Corinthians.
Oh, that was 1 Corinthians
Oh,
15:58.
15.
58. Yeah. Be steadfast. 1 Corinthians 15:58. Be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. All right. So when you talk about being steadfast, that means when storms come, you ain't moving. All right. When things happen, you ain't moving. All right. You are unmovable. In other words, when the emotions of my situations, when the circumstances, when the dire, come here, MJ, come here, come here. When it gets dire around me, I'm not going to stop. I'm gonna stay right here. I used to, when I was a kid, I was way too deep as a kid. When I was a kid, I would watch after storms on Belle Isle. It was always on Belle Isle, right? And I'd see trees, big straight trees, that fell over during windstorms, right? And I've always noticed those willow trees, weeping willow trees, they would never, ever, ever be over. Never. And you know why I think that is? Because they bend in the wind, right? They bend in the wind. And what happens is, the more you learn how to push past the point of conflict and learn how to commit to what you're doing, the more you learn how to bend in the wind. I ain't bend, but I ain't gonna break. I can be flexible enough to go through this thing, and while I'm going through, it's beating on me, but I'm still standing. Huh? It's getting at me, but I'm still standing. Why? Because I am committed. I've decided that nothing, nobody, no thing is going to stop me or curtail me from getting where I'm going. All right? And I've decided to be flexible enough to just kind of flow with it. Just kind of flow with it. All right? Hey, here's my man. All right. When you decide the outcome is worth the effort, you can be still, unmovable, and always doing whatever your hand finds to do with all your might. See, isn't that funny how that plays back? It says, always abounding in the work of God. Always abounding. What does that mean? Always doing more than enough. Not only am I standing still in the storm, continuing to stay where I'm supposed to be, doing what I'm supposed to do, when I'm supposed to do it. I'm doing it. Why? Because like we talked about last week, I understand that time and chance is coming. So whatever my hand finds to do, I got to do it with all my might, because there's no work, nor device, or planning, nor wisdom in the grave where I'm going. Remember, I returned and beheld under the sun that the race is not given to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor their bread to the wise, rich to men of understanding, nor favor to men of skill, but time and chance happens to them all. What does that mean? That means my time and my chance is happening, it's coming. So whether I'm going through the storm, or storms with an S, or storms with a whole bunch of S's, or all around me, whatever, I'm going to stay still, and I'm going to keep moving, I'm going to keep giving it my all. Not less effort because I feel bad. Not less of me because I'm tired. Not less of me because my emotions are kicking in. But I'm going to give it everything I got because I have decided I'm not missing my time and my chance. When they come, I'm going to be doing what I need to do, where I need to do it, because I'm committed to what I'm doing. Turn your neighbor and say, I'm committed. I'm committed to what I'm doing. All right? Commitment is becoming consistent, persistent, and resilient. All right? It's becoming consistent. I do what I do consistently. Consistently. Why don't you close on snow days? Because we're consistent. Because a lot of time in a lot of these people's lives that come in here, there's a whole bunch of inconsistencies, especially dealing with men, where you can't trust what they say. You can't trust they're going to do what they're supposed to do. But one thing you can know, this man going to do what he's supposed to do. I said we open on snow days. We open on snow days. So if you need to come get it on a snow day, we open. If it's raining, we open. We've been open with no lights on. We've been open with no lights on. We literally have worked out by phone light at night because we're committed to what we do. Does that make me great? Nah, that just makes me committed. And when you get that type of a mindset that you're going to be where you're supposed to be, doing what you're supposed to do with the effort you're supposed to do it with, then you're ready to win. Because your time and your chance is coming. But will you be there, or will you decide today is the day you're going to the movies? We is being consistent, persistent. Somebody say persistent. Persistent is just pushing past the point of conflict. That's all it is. Persistent. Life is going to be, listen, life is going to push up against you. Life is going to tell you what you can't do. You got to tell life what you going to do. Let me say that again. Life going to tell you what you can't do. You got to tell life what you going to do. Remember how we said that our whole purpose of being it? Let's go all the way back. All right? Have dominion. Be fruitful. Be productive. Multiply. Cause other people to be productive. Replenish the earth. Leave something where you at. All right? And subdue it. What does that mean? Bring your life into submission to your purpose, to your will. Take control. Own your life. It's not cliche, it's real. Right? Own your life. Bring that sucker into commission. It's going to tell you what you can't do. It's going to give you all kind. Look at this. How you going to do this? You got this, you got that, you got this, you got that up against you. How you going to do it? And you got to just say something. Listen, I don't know. I'm going to ask God who gives all men liberally, and I'm going to keep it moving. You hear what I'm saying to you? And if you got that mindset, nothing is impossible to you. Nothing is impossible to you. Because you got that mindset, the willingness to be patient and wait through your process. Wait through your process. Work through your process. Live through your process. Grow through your process. Go through your process. There ain't nothing you can't do. Nothing you can't do. I'm standing in this room right now, seeing the room we're going to. And it's a whole lot of work between here and there. Whole lot of tests between here and there. Whole lot of trials between here and there. Whole lot of conflicts to push past between here and there. But you know what I've decided? I've decided we're going to stand in that spot. And with it in the back of my mind, it helps me to keep pushing. Keep pushing. And y'all don't have no idea what I'm saying. But I keep pushing. Because I want it. Because I want it. And you got to have something that you want in your life so bad that it causes you to do this thing on a consistent, persistent basis. And then beyond that, you got to also be resilient. Somebody say resilient. 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 You got to be resilient. You got to bounce back. Because guess what you're going to do? You're going to mess up. You're going to mess up. You're going to make some bad decisions. You're going to make some decisions that's going to cause you to take a step back or to fall. But you got to have the wherewithal to get back up quick. Because it's not how many times you fall down, it's how many times you get up to count. I hear what I'm saying to you. So no matter what, I'm going to be consistent, be what I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to be doing, what I'm supposed to do with all the effort I got. I'm going to be persistent. When trouble get in the way, I'm going to get on the way. And I'm going to be resilient. When I fall down, I'm going to get back up quick, keep it moving. Recognize I fell down, and I'm moving. Don't let pride make you stop. Don't let pride make you stay away. Don't make pride make you stray away. Don't let pride make you make another dumb decision because you're ashamed or don't want people to know where you're at. It don't really matter. Who cares? They talking about you anyway. I'm going to say that for y'all. They talking about you anyway. So just get it done. Who cares? They're going to talk about you if you do. They're going to talk about it if you don't. They're going to talk about it if you will. They're going to talk about it if you won't. They're gonna talk about if you can, they're gonna talk about if you can't, they're gonna talk about you. That's what they do, is what people do. It does not matter. It does not matter. It is just chatter. It has nothing to do with you. It's not what they say about you that matters. It's what you say about you that matters. And if you got nerve enough to be consistent, persistent, and resilient, you can do anything in the world. All right? In other words, keep coming back, keep showing up, and keep getting up. Keep coming back, keep showing up, and keep getting up. All right? Commitment is putting skin in the game. It's putting skin in the game. It is emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, and financial engagement to the end of the matter or the fulfillment of the vision. Let me say that again. Commitment is putting skin in the game. That means you got something vested in this thing. The biggest problem that I see off the time of folk that we even work with even, is the skin in the game part. If you don't have nothing that you put out there, you got nothing to make you do. Because you ain't got no investment. Remember, anything that doesn't cost you anything is not respected or appreciated. If it's gotten too easily. So commitment forces an engagement or an investment. Commitment is the decision to invest my time, my energy, my money, my emotion. Right? And when I invest that,
I just want to say anything that's what is not respected.
anything that's gotten too easily
Anything that-
or doesn't cost you anything is not respected or appreciated. This has been several times that I've offered for to be able to come in free and work out. And I can't name one time that they really took advantage of it and did something with it. It's been, listen, I care about you so much, I want you to do. Now, I've seen people give away membership. Every student, they talk about, they come in and talk about, I'm gonna buy my friend a membership. And she's like, girl, don't you do it.
No.
You can do it if you want to, you're gonna waste your money. And sure enough, they do it, and they come in two days and wouldn't come back because they ain't spend no money. You know, I used to try to make this thing as cheap as I could so folk could afford to get in here, but people don't. Cheap is unappreciated, right? And free is always underrated. People they don't care. It doesn't mean anything because it didn't cost them anything. You know, as the prices go up, you see more engagement because they put more money into it. You know, if you look at PF memberships, they don't cost much. They sell 10,000 of them. 92% of people never go. And they set them up specifically to keep gym rats or people that would normally do the workout out. You make sure they ain't got no weight over 75 pounds. They put an alarm up. If you drop a weight on the floor or you holler too loud. You can't wear intimidating things like bandanas or have clothes on that may show too much of how your body's built or whatever. All those things are deterrents for the people that are in the gym all the time, so they can sell to people that ain't. It's a marketing strategy that works like crazy. 10,000 members, each one of them. Problem is, over here, I care about whether you in the building. Even if you paid or didn't pay, whether you didn't pay or I'm hot, but if you paid and you don't show up, I get bothered. And you're liable to get a text, or you're liable to hear from me, or you're liable to get an inbox, you know. Or when you make that call to tell me, I need to keep that membership. The first thing I'm gonna tell you is, did you try? Did you try to use it? Or what's the excuse that you got for why you're not here? Because we all got it. But what it's going to take for you to get where you're going is commitment. Period. All right? Keep coming back. Keep showing up. Keep getting up. Put some skin in the game. It is emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, financial engagement to the end of the matter or the fulfillment of the vision. What does that mean? I'm not going to stop till I get it done. You'll hear me when I tell people to go past that hash line, right? And they'll get up near that hash line and they stop. And I'll say, you're not there. Or they'll get up and I'll say get to the hash line and they'll get up 4 feet from it and they'll stop and say, you're not there. And you hear me say, almost is a mindset. Almost is a mindset, and almost is a problem, because almost ain't good enough. You wanna know you got it done. What does that mean? Don't just go to the finish line, go through the finish line. I've seen races where people have run up, thinking they won, start coasting out the last few feet, and watch Usain Bolt run right past them. Because you wasn't there yet. And when you get the mindset of stopping at almost, that's good enough, then you'll take that and it'll carry into every area of your life that you'll be constantly doing almost. That's what I say, commitment. Commitment is skin in the game. Commitment is skin in the game. I'm not going to stop until I have fulfilled what it is I'm trying to do, what it is that I'm going into, what it is I'm pushing toward. I'm not going to stop till the fulfillment of that vision. I'm not going to stop till the fulfillment of that vision. When I set that goal last year of hitting 220, I couldn't stop till I passed it. When I got past it, I said, okay, 215. I couldn't stop till I passed it. I got past it and said, okay, 210. And I couldn't stop till I passed it. Right? It's a mindset. It's a commitment mindset. And let me tell you, when you decide to be committed, again, when you decide to be committed, and all hell is breaking loose, real commitment says, I can't turn back. Right? Real commitment says, I can't turn back. Real commitment alleviates options. Say that again. Real commitment alleviates options. There's a saying, if you want to take the island, burn the boat. Commitment does not do a plan B. Say that one more time. Commitment does not do a plan B. If this don't work, I'm going to do that. Nah. Commitment says, if this don't work, oh hell, here I am. Commitment says, listen, all my life I was good for options. I kept options. I always was a plan B somewhere around the corner, just in case plan A wasn't acting right. I decided to be committed, and it's a whole different mindset. Because when you're committed, you're engaged. When you're engaged, you're in there. You're present in the moment. When you're present in the moment, you're fueling the movement. Because you've decided now that this is what it's about. I'm not going no other way. I'm not turning no other way. I'm going to do this thing. And if it don't get done, then I don't know. I'm going to just die doing it. How about that? Right? I'm going to die doing it. How about that? I'm not going to stop till this thing is over and I've won. I've determined. There's no going back. There's no turning back. There's no other way. There's no other one. There's no other anything. I am committed to this. And right, wrong, or indifferent, this is the decision I've made to be committed. All right? Now, let's go to this worksheet real quick. Am I getting anything? All right. Number 1 says, a dabbler's proficiency in anything will be directly reflective of his or her commitment to growing in a given area. If I'm dabbling, my proficiency is going to be directly reflective of my commitment. So if I'm just dabbling, I'm going to get what dabblers get. A dabbler can look like they're doing something, but they already know what they're doing, and you'll know it. A real committed person will know it. I mean, never say anything. I mean, I watched for months somebody dabbling. Somebody dabbling in kickboxing is like, not doing nothing, but it was dabbling. I know it was dabbling. Everybody else knows it was dabbling. I knew it was dabbling. Why? Because I'm not a dabbler. I'm committed to this thing. And when you get around folks who's committed, like you start playing some keys on the piano, and you impress your friends because you learn 2 songs, but you get around somebody that play the piano, and they're looking at you like, a dabbler, his proficiency will be directly reflective of his or her commitment to growing in a given area. Number 2, things that come too quickly or easily are not usually respected or appreciated. If it come too easily, you ain't gonna respect it or appreciate it. All right? The reason mothers have the bond they do with babies is they don't come easily. If you could pop them suckers out like chiclets, it would be no big deal. But I've seen that pain. If it was up to me, it wouldn't be no babies made. I'm gonna tell you right now. Wouldn't be no made. I'm telling you. Listen, y'all stronger than me. I'm gonna tell you right now. I watched my youngest take like a G. Right? It was about 12 something hours, wasn't it? I'm talking about MJ. Yeah, like 12 hours or something. Just take it. Just go, Lord. Just, finally, just take them out. But the bond between a mother and her child, it ain't even the bond between the father and the child. The father and the child is tight, but not like a mom and a child. Because though we have some investment, we ain't got that investment. But when you put that amount of commitment in, that amount of investment in, that bond is forever. Trouble is trying ground. Pain is a practice field. Tests and trials are workout facilities in which we build our strength and endurance to enhance our resolve to evolve. Say it again. Trouble is trying ground. Pain is practice field. Tests and trials are workout facilities in which we build our strength and endurance to enhance our resolve to evolve. We go through stuff, we build our strength, we build our endurance, and we enhance our resolve to get better, to become better, to grow into better. I don't just want to stay the same. I don't just want to be talking about what I did in high school. Touchdowns I made. What I did in college, or what I did in my 20s. I don't want to be talking about that. I want to be talking about what I'm doing in my 50s. I want to talk about what I'm doing in my 60s. I'm going to talk about where I'm going and what I'm experiencing, what I'm learning, how I'm growing. I want to be talking about, I want to be evolving, and you should want to be evolving. All right. Number 4, tests precede testimonies. Trials precede triumphs. Challenges precede championships. Try it again. Tests precede testimonies. Trials precede triumphs. Challenges precede championships. Number 5. Every mountaintop experience is preparation for another battle in the valley. Life has peaks and valleys. Days have peaks and valleys. Sometimes hours have peaks and valleys. But every mountaintop experience is preparation for the battle in the valley. So the more you raise that mind up, the more you're ready to deal with what you got to deal with when you come back into what we call reality or life. Number 6, the glory of the moment is not about staying in the moment, rather preparation for the movement. The glory of that moment up on that mountaintop is not about staying there and just basking in, ooh, Lord, did we not have a time today? It ain't about that. It's about preparation, right? It's about preparation for the movement. Number 7, count it all joy when you fall into varied test. The testing of your faith brings what? Patience. Count it all joy when you fall into various tests. I dare you this week to change your mindset on that and literally do that. When you start seeing trouble come, just start rejoicing. Start thanking God. Thank you for where we're growing. Thank you for what's going to come out of this. Thank you for how much better I'm going to be when I get to the back end of this. And start taking that mindset with you and running into that trouble. Ooh, ooh, ooh. How about that? What happens when you run up into it? Like, okay, let's deal with this. What happens? When instead of you shying away from it or running away from it or trying to avoid it or trying to escape it, trying to drink it away or smoke it away or sleep it away or sex it away, or whatever it is you try to do to get away from it, instead you just run up on it and say, let's deal with this. Because greater is he is in me than he is in the world. No weapon formed against me shall be able to prosper. I know all things work together for good of those who are called according to his purpose and love God. I'm with him. All things are for my sake. Bring it on. Let's deal with this. Because when I get through this, I'm going to get to this. Let me say it again. When I get through this, I'm going to get to this. When I get through this test, I'm going to get to this testimony. When I get through this trial, I'm going to get through this triumph. When I get through this challenge, I'm going to get through this championship. So bring it on. Let's go. Let's rock. Let's do it. Let's do it. I've been practicing. Huh? I've been working on it. Huh? I've been doing my work. I've been where I'm supposed to be, doing what I'm supposed to do. In the meantime, in between time, I've been pushing past points of conflict all the way to this. This is no different. This is just the fair to get where I'm going. I don't know about you, I'm getting excited. Number 8, let patience have its complete work, that you might be complete and entire, wanting nothing, not lacking anything. The more patience has its work inside of me, the more patient I become, the more I can deal with anything. Remember last week we talked about that I've learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. No matter where I am, God is, so I'm all good. No matter what the issue is, whether I'm up or down, he's with me, I'm good. Whether I'm hungry or full, he's with me, I'm good. Whatever it is I'm dealing with, I'm good. Because my patience has said, all I gotta do is wait. All I gotta do is keep moving. Again, like we talked about, driving through that storm, right? I'm not gonna park in the storm and wait for it to pass. I'm gonna keep moving through that storm. And if the storm don't pass, eventually I'm gonna pass it. Because I didn't stop moving. Turn to somebody and tell them, don't stop moving.
Don't stop moving.
Number 9, if you can learn to wait, you can have, do, or be whatever you want. You can learn to wait, you can have, do, or be whatever you want. Number 10, if you don't know what to do, pray. I should ask. Yes, pray. I should ask. Exactly. When I ask, I should ask in faith, nothing wavering. I'm going to put a pin right there for 1 second. I just got to deal with it 1 second. Faith. Somebody say faith. We're going to talk about faith. Now, we'll talk about the fight of faith next week. But faith, what is faith? Faith is more than belief. There's some things I believe that I don't do, that I don't work with. There's things I believe. I believe that, I could literally probably punch through that glass. I ain't gonna do it. Huh? A belief don't cause me to do something. Faith causes me to do something. What is faith? Faith is a confident trust. Let me give you a demonstration.
A conflict of trust?
Confident. Excuse me online. So, I believe, right? I believe that I can hand this dollar to Edge and she won't take it home with her, right? I believe it, but it's just belief until I do this. Until I put it in her hand, right? Until I put it in her hand, until I show I have a confident trust. Faith is trust, people. It ain't trust until you put it in his hand. I got faith. I can say I believe that I can sit in that chair and not fall. But when I do this, now what is it?
Faith.
Now it's faith. Because I turned around, took my eyes off and sat down, didn't I? I sat down because not because I had believed, but because I had faith in the stability of the chair to hold me up. That's what faith is, right? It is a confident trust. Say it with me. Faith is a confident trust.
It's a confident trust.
And it ain't trust
It ain't trust
until
until
you hand it over.
you hand it over.
Ooh.
Faith is a confident trust.
Faith is a confident trust. I'm so confident that I trust, and trust ain't trust till I give it to you. When you hand somebody your heart, you trust they're gonna do the right thing with it. You hand somebody your money, you trust they're gonna do the right thing with it. You hand somebody your child, you trust they're gonna do the right thing with it. Are you hear what I'm saying to you? Huh? That's faith. I have faith. That faith causes action. Ooh, Lord. And you need that in order to commit. So when you ask in faith, nothing wavering. In other words, when I ask, I got to give it to him. When I ask, Lord, how do I do this? Show me how to do it. I got to give it to him and let him show me. In whatever means he does it, by whatever messenger he sends it. Huh? He spoke through an ass to save a prophet. That message come from anywhere. I won't say amen. Commitment is an ongoing decision to stay dedicated to a task, mission, or vision long after the initial excitement has waned. All right? Commitment is putting skin in the game. It is emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, financial engagement to the end of the matter or fulfillment of the vision. All right? Last one. Commitment alleviates options. If you want to take the island, you have to burn the boat. Okay, number 12 again. Commitment is an ongoing decision to stay dedicated to a task, mission, or vision long after the initial excitement is waned. All right? Commitment means I don't feel excited about it when we start again. We start these challenges. Right? Or you start getting ready for your birthday, right? And the birthday is in the middle of the challenge. You run to the birthday, knock it out, get all sweet with it. But then, excitement gone, forget about the challenge. Challenge ain't over, right? You have to decide I'm committed even when the excitement is gone. All right? That's literally, that's anything. Right? When you had it, again, we go back to the babies. I use babies, we got babies around. Go back to the babies. The excitement of having that baby is now gone. You gonna not feed it now? You gonna stop? It's crying. You gonna stop dealing with it?
No.
Or you gonna keep feeding, you'll keep moving. Long after the excitement of the birth is gone. You understand what I'm saying? Because now it's going through the process of growth and becoming. And in the middle of that, you ain't gonna always feel like it. You ain't gonna feel like waking up every 2 hours. You ain't gonna feel like I ain't gonna boob. We're popping the boob out every, how many hours y'all do that? How many times a day you do that? On demand. Pop the boob out on demand. I love that. But on demand, I don't feel like it. They're trying to figure out, is it poop? Is it boob? Is it teething? Is it pee? Is it just want some attention? You're not gonna feel like it. But commitment says, I'm gonna do it every time because I'm committed to see where this goes. So anyway, did we do 13 for you? We did it?
Yeah.
Okay, good, all right.
What's the last one? What's the last blank?
The last blank, on 14?
13.
On 13? Fulfillment. Fulfillment of the vision. All right. So, listen, guys, really enjoyed you guys. Come on, you can come over and meet the people. Say hi. Say hi, look at her. Look. at the audience. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Hi. All right. So listen, great stuff today. Really enjoyed you guys. Hope y'all got some online. This time it's on YouTube, my page, all the kind of other pages. Let folk know we got one more. Again, if you want to donate, $ JC Jones 40, we appreciate it. Hopefully we get enough to actually do something in the building. But next week we're going to talk about the fight of faith. The fight of faith, the last one in the series, and then we're going to do something else on the next coming quarter. It's going to be phenomenal as well. Let's have a great rest of your day. Do not waste this day. It's meal prep day for a lot of you. It's time to get ready for the week. There's no excuses. We're committed to it. We're going to do it, right? Until we get it done. Say goodbye, MJ. Say bye-bye. Tell him bye-bye. Tell him bye-bye, MJ. MJ, tell him bye-bye. You'll tell him? You don't get no more buys? Huh? They can't get a buy? All right. Well, bye-bye, y'all. Love y'all. Look at it. See? That's faith, and it worked, didn't it? Hey! That's why I had to bet it.